guy's not squishy by any means.
None of
Yes,
these,
I'm just
none
like
of
piss him
these,
off.
none of the Universal heroes are squishy. God, and it's the
Yeah.
worst, dude.
Charge on
Man.
top. This could be a
Hold
breakout fight on
on.
top.
Corruption was one of the best saves and best initiations in Dota, but then they gave the illusions more damage. Awesome. His laning phase, completely buffed by Promulgate. It is just one of the strongest facets that is being overlooked.
That from the Tormentor? Yes,
Charge
they did.
in on the Sand King. Looks
They
like
have
he
another
just
save.
looks like he just decides to speed away, but the smoke comes out and it's not caught on any vision. So if they find someone here, they do
Okay, so
something
that really
about this
throws
tiny hero, Dota.
that throws a bit of a spanner in the works for AU Rejects. They need to get this Roche while it's top so they can continue to push like the map. And so long between lanes, he doesn't actually like he can just charge through a wave and it's pushed, and then from there he can place a deep ward that you're not expecting because he's so stupidly
Already dead. Gachi gets the clap, back on full HP, and that is a team wipe once again on Slaughter Gang.
It may not look like it, but that was perfect.
They are doing it. They're managing to hold on to this game.
The lead is slightly worsening, but I got a comment. I did say I think it's a
I
little.
don't know how you enjoy playing it, but there are some IO players out there who'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you say you have so much impact and control of the game as this hero. It's the macro that makes this game fun, not necessarily for a second, and grabbed midair. They do have that big scary Undying on top of them. It looks like Reverie's deciding to deal with the tombstone as quickly as he can. He doesn't want that in his fight, and down
900 during a big fight. The Aghanim's aura also gets really bigger, so Heartstop aura's only got like an 840 radius, and that just builds up to K farming. He will eventually win them this game if he itemizes correctly and just gets his timings. Relocate in.
Relo on mid, and immediately that huge Mars ult comes smile and have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah. So they do have the shard now on the Undying, even though they did they get
Dweller is now on the high ground. The Blade Mail comes out, and that fourth link needs to be careful. He doesn't kill himself, but he does blow up the Axe. Axe is dead. That creates a bit of space in these fights for Dire now. Looks like Reverie is just elected to use his ult on the Spirit Breaker.
Okay, so I would expect a couple deaths up top either way.
Yeah, well that's the thing, right? Is these Universal heroes just do so much damage, and Windy obviously had some Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bubs cast. There's been a whole lot of them lately, and tonight I just couldn't miss this game. How is it just gonna...
It's going to be very, very interesting to see what AU Rejects pick here because they have to lock in a good Morphling counter and something that doesn't get ruined by Shadow Demon. So, what offlaner?
Fateful, but Raccoon gets the power shot in return and kills the troll! Looks like the Mukau has come to play. Raccoon doing her best to try and get out of there, but they're on top of her and another blood grenade goes out. Gets off the wind run, she's running, but the zap again from all of a sudden for Radiant Heroes there.
Break a charge, they're going for the IO.
Charge, going on the IO, they want to eliminate it because they know that they can win these fights if they do take it out. Huncho is feeling...
Bit of a nothing connection there.
Yeah. But if it leaves it much longer, this snowball might be too big to slow down when you're sitting at the bottom of the hill. And I'm really, really worried for Radiant. Oh, sorry, super stacked.
Yeah, so the lanes have gotten much better for AU Rejects this game than last match, which means the Dire's not going to have any momentum going into mid-game at this rate.
Axe wants the dunk!
They got him.
Oh
No, he
my
doesn't.
god! Rampage to that Axe! Oh my god, that's Rue's doing everything he can to get up into its fountain, and
God.
it is not going to make it. I think for 4 times now? For 3 or 4 times? He's not...
I think that's the one.
Yeah, he's not as far behind as, like, as he should be. You know, he's it's still 1,000. At this stage of the game, Gubala is trying to get away from Reverie. Reverie putting the damage down, but not quite enough. Axe is able to walk away here, and it looks like it turns into a tier 3 bit of nothing. The tiny toss back.
Continue to play. If the Sand King ever gets to Ags, he has Shivas already. Yeah, they're going to have so much trouble playing into it. They only have one BKB across their entire team. Obviously, Zeus is never going to buy it, but they need more players to be able to get Mars response probably for Johnny Sins.
So these guys have done their research on each other then. What I saw then was an Io pick. Obviously, Io, one of my favorite heroes, one of the best heroes in the game. Even the coming with him, and I think they're about to try and shut this Axe down as fast as they can. He gets the Torn off, but he's already switched to Strength, so he's okay. Gubala trying to hide in the trees, but Huncho George is here with the stun, and that Axe is dead. Okay. Nice for...
No way.
Whiffed it a bit there, boys. What's
That
the
is
old...
unfortunate. Yeah, they just didn't catch anything else. That's insane.
One here, or are they running the tiny as a one?
So, AE Rejects have done something brilliant here. Gubala has played Snap 3 earlier in the tournament. Snapfire can be a mid. Kills at least, right?
And we did see the Shadow Demon having the impact that we expected it to have. And where it was like saving this Morphling, we did have the swaps from Johnny to keep another huge Mars ult, and that IO is just gone. Down goes Gubala as well. Troll on the edge, wants to go in on the Tiny, but Tiny gets the blink off. Now that Troll ult is down. He is still forced to just run at that.
It's not in the arena. It's going to be really hard for him to get anything done. And the you have to notice, I don't think the spirits actually give much vision anymore. I know they only give vision when they explode, and I don't think it's a no. Oh, well, we're in.
Look at that, and we have a draft straight away. And we got a look at that beautiful, stunning.
God, it's so obnoxious, man.
But,
why does he keep the move speed?
But something that I just want to point out before this game gets on the roll, because this won't come across on stream, is Lord.
These Greaves on Winching are doing God's work for him. And it's insane. So they did change the Roshan's banner. It's not going to leave the lasting buff on them anymore. So these creeps are just going to be standard creeper, now that I think about it. But they haven't actually decided what hero is going in what position. This could be a tiny one here. This could still be a wind one. Gooby is on the snap. Okay, it's the +5 tiny. Okay.
Since I've seen anything like that. Let's go.
Charge onto Johnny top. Cal just might be a little bit short on the damage.
There's just a running meme between me and my mates. We call him Lalul for the fun of it. So
Johnny drops the brother patience from the BM unpause from think twice about picking this IO. I would expect they're gonna think twice about picking the Necro. The IO will likely get banned by Dire next game. Like, he did so much. Rakon drops the easy.
What I was going to say about the Shadow Demon is it reminds me of just the Russian teams. They love this hero. They've always loved this hero. It just applies.
No bash.
Hang on. I thought this game was looking like it was going to wrap up very shortly, but Slaughter Gang a claw. Reverie on the low ground. I'm not sure you should be there, mate. I think you should be nice and safe behind those tier 3s. They do scout him on vision. Reverie's thinking about maybe making a play here.
Spirit Breaker could just be the hero of this series.
Oh, reload, going out of mid? Oh, just bring a tiny for the farm. Okay.
Just a ferry service, I guess. Move him around. So
hey,
the
Battle Fury
doesn't... Oh, sorry, yeah?
Yeah, Battle Fury coming up on young Harold as well. You got 20 coming up on Axe. Meanwhile, this poor Morphling is 15, and the rest of his team are even lower than that. So when
We have a
there's
charge.
that rated, Snapper likes to fire her ult here, but she's next to a troll that has his own ult. Toss forward onto the other heroes to get a little bit of a stun. The group comes out to root him in place, and now Tiny's caught out of position by Andros, and he is gone as well. Tries to back out.
Very early BKB.
Very early BKB.
Tiny's caught. Oh my god. Did you see it?
Yeah, Tiny caught by the Spirit Break.
I haven't seen a Shadow Demon very much. I do think it's one of the... I think it's like a timeless hero, if I had to
It's just so
put
good.
it down.
It just does so much. It does so much. Rubik, this damage coming out of Rubik pre 4 minutes is absolutely insane. Good god.
Yeah,
It's
RFA
1,000 damage.
Max limits.
1,000 damage.
Playing max limits.
Right? Like, I was such a strong hero. They're feeling around. RFA getting a bit cheeky. Gubala. Chosen the creep. Oh, in comes that huge Mars arena, and the Tiny elects to blink into the arena, which, especially after that first game where they just get stomped out of existence, to see them just come back with such ferocity and annihilate, this Dire team. Like, what could they...
But he is objectively the core that had the hardest game possible on top. And if you go to like the net worth blocks and go around the 8-minute mark, he is 6 from the top, and by the 10-minute mark, he is top 3.
Your eyes are probably fixed on Riyadh. Are you taking any lessons from what's been happening in the group stages of that so far?
I have a feeling, yeah, at least one player on all these teams, I can almost...
Deuce, that is such...
43 on winching as well. That's very impressive.
Undying. Wow-wee, what a game! What an absolute game! Nuts.
It doesn't show. You are 100% going to get, but because he opted not to go the Blink Dagger, he just doesn't. Yeah. And it doesn't impact Gooby at all. Wowee.
Now the charge out on Johnny camps and build up that triangle. But the thing is, everyone knows he's going to be doing that, and so they're going to block his camps. As a 5, this hero just does an aftershock. And there was some interaction there that would permanently lock people into a stun. So hopefully they don't pick a punch and we don't see that sort of action. Hey, Troll comes out. That's very exciting for me. I'm pretty stoked to see you in a
they're still discussing on Radiant. I think they're still discussing what they're going to do here. Only winching is, like, obviously winching Io was guaranteed. So the Shadow Demon, they've gone for an Undying. One of the few saves in the game that doesn't get ruined by Shadow Demon. You can just buy Shard and put someone in a Tombstone for 3 seconds. Or until it breaks.
Big. A little bit of extra mana regen for the rest of the game. He'll love that.
Yeah,
okay,
as these fights keep going, the Dire just seem to be getting so much more out of them than the Radiant. Every fight that Dire wins is like a 3...
Axe snatched it up, and it looks like the Axe secures the Wisdom Rune. I think they're having some fun. I think they're feeling themselves in this game. So good to see. Good to see that even in a comp setting, these boys can still.
I'm not gonna say like. It just shows like
Zeusol
how
trying
bad
to
their
get vision
position
for
is.
the axe. Morthling's career almost
Gachi
gets
wants
scouted
more.
by Gabala then. The bear is
Gachi
still
smells.
in there. Throws two heroes of Team Team Radiant into this Mars arena with the big blood sport. There's no saving them. They're stuck in there. They're freaking out because everyone freaks out when they're in a Mars ult.
And nothing. So he's not out of it yet, you know? He will still be one to watch once he gets his 6 and once he makes like maybe a power rune rotation if he's lucky.
And the whip comes out. Looks like they're still looking for Win Xing. Shadow Demon's died somewhere in the background that I didn't quite catch, but looks like Axe jumps in to get a good call, but he's delayed by the avalanche toss, and now... Ooh, is he in trouble? For a while now, but it is allowing him to get this passive gold, right? We see this in the game with like illusion heroes, like your fish. Why can't I remember it?
3 Mars, they're just gonna play around the arena, I think. They'll play slow.
Seems simpler to execute, right? Like it's a Mars ult, it's a troll ult, it's an invoker, winning his lane and rotating. Like this seems like the of Radiant is here now, and all of a sudden this fight that looked almost kind of good suddenly it looks really, really bad as Gachi just turns on them and absolutely eliminates them. The Shadow Demon goes down, the Vengey goes down, and now the Vengey Spirit might go down. Morphling or
where it follows you around, because
I can answer that one. For once, I can answer that one because in the pro scene, they're deciding to they just value the invisibility more. And once you've got the blood, Faye is now in trouble as well as he tries to run to his tower and just gets up down. Okay, nice young Harold. And Gachi going in bottom.
Gachi gets a kill, 2v1. How long until it starts? Yeah,
5 minutes.
I don't
We
think
got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. These guys aren't gonna. Oh, I just loaded into the draft. The draft has already begun.
Did they?
So it seems AU rejects have first.
This troll. He's gonna bump into Snap if she's not careful. No, yeah, Battle Fury on troll. He's got his Blade of Alacrity. How do you like these timings? Do you think he's having an aura?
It depends on your mid laner. If your mid laner's okay, another Husker, like that's these last 2 bans. I think both games have been OD Husker from AU rejects. They just do not want to get cheesed by Huncho with 100. These are like the 2 most impactful picks on both drafts, right? Get rid of them. They're both gone. There's no way.
Okay.
They might try the Necro again, but I think Gachi...
Fat Bear underneath their tier 3, but they sort of have enough to deal with him. He pops his BKB and just wants to pour it out of there, but now Zeus and Win Xing need to be careful because the rest of the team is going to be running after them. No vision.
But he's
Axe lurking on the side.
This axe, so they're gonna have to do stacks for the axe because he's gonna slightly lose lane into the Morphling Shadow Demon because like it's a hard lane. It just I'm not sure how they're gonna make up the difference and actually hit their timings.
Something that I can't see, but they seem confident with the way that they lock their heroes. They took the Tiny and they immediately snapped up Snap and IO. So this is an opener for them. They
Having me on, I appreciate it. It's an amazing series to watch. I was gonna watch it anyway, and I'm glad we could have a really fun time while watching it because my god, they put on a show game 2. Game 1 was a bit of a excels when you can get that one spell off that hero and then make it do a one shot on another hero.
And tell me, what do you think about the way that the facets, obviously for RFA on Rubik, Johnny on Mars, Prey on Spirit Breaker, and Rev on the Troll Warlord. No smoke outs in this early game.
Yeah, these 2 will play very slow. I'm glad they're finally moving the IO up top because a lot of the kills RFA's gotten have just been on the edge of he's playing max limits. If you add one more hero into the mix, it doesn't work. Oh my god, only you until you lose the game with the 100. It's hilarious. Shadow Fiend ban from
Shadow Fiend ban, I was just about to say, we've seen this if he gets the space he's been having.
If he can make a play off a Naked Radiance, yeah, but you still gotta respect the fact that he only has 1,000 health.
Oh, power shot just misses. Oh, it was so
bit more patient with these disruptions. He's just
I
getting
think so.
slightly the wrong hero.
I
And
think
it's
also
costing him
as a Shadow Demon player, I can tell you that all too often you want to use that disruption offense. It's kind of pretty hype, and so while I think they bought this when they were memeing and having a good time, in this game when there is just sort of burst damage coming out from Slaughter Gang, it sort of has
Flood the
just
water.
on the edge. They're looking at this. They're looking at this axe, but they whiff the avalanche, and now the Moo Cow is on top of Tiny. The whole team is here though, but they are grouping up, and there is a Battle Fury. Now, obviously this seems like a respect ban, and we're seeing things like the Broodmother being banned because they're actually just super strong in the meta right now. Do you think Axe is Shadow Demon is dead as well? Toss away, but it doesn't matter. The Tiny goes down. Hunter's here. He wants winching. He wants something in return, and decides to even waste his ult to try and deal with this big punching, undying name right now. What's the fish? Naga. Like we see Naga pushing out with pushing out with illusions. We see your Terrorblade
He
pushing
almost
out
got
with
caught by
illusions.
Spirit Breaker there. Oh no, he's gonna try sneak Roche, and he's gonna get clipped here, I think. One of the oldest players.
Did you after last night, because I did shout it out on stream, have you signed my petition to have Hoodwink removed from the game? And everyone out there in Twitch chat, I do have the petition up, so please go and get that hero. Lane's pushed in. It's got this stupid Bull Rush talent. Oh, where it can just run away anytime it actually hits a wave. Plays so far forward. I mean, we saw Boxy doing it before. Like,
I think that's actually the reason why Reveries died a
Cow
couple
is
times.
charging onto that Shadow Demon, and he is just absolutely eliminated. That Zeus ult is doing some real damage. Wendy tried to help there, but
they're putting a lot of stock into this Invoker, and as it was their last pick of the draft, so it just shows like how much they value Huncho having a.
now he gets tossed up in front of the tower, and there's a whole lot of damage coming out, but he's fast enough to click onto the creep to stop the tower aggro. Big screen comes out, and the potion saves him. Well played,
Wowie.
Big old juicy. It doesn't quite work. You come up against a pretty tough team in Slaughter Gang, maybe underestimating them a little bit. What's your next step? Are you gonna go for something more traditional, something easier to execute? No, hey, step up too far, and we're gonna put some pain on you.
I gotta give Harold credit though. If there's any player that I would want playing from behind, it would probably be him. He does know how to make miracles happen with borderlines at the start of the game.
Also, just shout out to my chat. It is pronounced Lalul. There's two L's, okay? So it's
I thought it was Laurel.
No, it is Lal.
Right.
And Prey was playing phenomenally on that Spirit Breaker, carving up and making some real space. But I think the hero of this story for me has got to be Johnny. That Mars laned into and lane Razorban. No, there was no Razorban. Not from my memory, anyway.
Because like if you think about it, Razor is very similar to the Snapfire in a lot of regards, except it just buys defensive items, whereas the Snapfire.
And Hyper Cannon, and I.
Oh my god!
I love that name so much, dude. Give me more Tasmanian Hyper Cannons and less. Garbage hero in the patch. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not seeing it anywhere on Dota Pro Tracker, and yet it's in all the games that I'm casting. Why? Why does this hero keep getting picked up?
It depends on. First of all, you need a Rubik.
Raccoon decides to just get on top of this Sand King as quick as he can. Out comes the Tombstone, and all of a sudden Huncho might be in a little bit of trouble. Winching is running straight at him, but does he have the damage to deal with him? Down comes the Zeus ult, and out. So as someone who loves the save support, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm known for my Earth Spirit, but I love Io. I just love that hero so much. I also love Oracle. I've played in.
That's got it. That's a 3. I think that's actually the 3K gold lead. Is actually just from those kills, systematically eliminated across the map. That is insane.
Yeah. But they're starting to feel him out. They've got vision on him, and the Invoker's rotating over. Mars is here, the slow comes out, big zap from the Rubik, he throws off his Ghost Shroud, but then the stun comes out immediately from the
10 facets during a game, and then having to track which one they actually took. It just gets so messy so quickly. And here we do, we have the Gubala Snapfire, and the instance...
Might not see him! Boom! The Space Cow lands on top of it.
He didn't anticipate, he couldn't smell it coming.
Shield Rune?
No way. A lot of heroes they just can't get them 100 zeros. They just can't kill them.
hard to fight against a team that has a 30k lead, you know?
Yeah, that's just... If they weren't 30k up and they would...
Yesterday or the day before, that ability to give his POS 5, and potentially a core if they're having a bad game, but to give his POS 5 that XP boost, you know, even if you...
Sucks. But he has his mech, he's already going to do everything he's going to do for like the next 10 minutes, you know? Like he can get a holy lock on top of this maybe.
You know, I quite like with him, swap in onto Gabala, they decide to try and deal with the axe first. Johnny trying to keep Ursa busy, but Gabala has decided he's just going to play forward as Gachi is running to that Shadow Demon, and the Shadow Demon is dead without buyback. Johnny doing what he can to fight this... Who copped 4 or 5 bans, even in the professional scene.
Okay, Hoodwink ban into first pick Tiny, I think that's kind of expected. Tiny's just...
They're absolutely whiffing it because of the pressure. But then when it's time to shine, some of them are making some of the 6 plays I've seen in a while too. It's such a good game with Dota. I love Dota. And it's having a pretty good game. We haven't really felt Necro's impact in this early game, and I didn't really expect to see Necro have much impact, especially for position 1, right? He just wants to farm.
Yeah.
That is a spicy little start. Gachi, stun comes out onto him. He needs to be a little bit careful, but Wing Xing is here now on that Undying, and it's in his name. He'll make sure Gachi... At Wind Ranger though, Wind Ranger getting the run off, but I do hear a Spirit Breaker ult on the side, and it looks like Necro's been caught out of position. Does get the scythe off though before he goes down, so he doesn't go down empty-handed.
Do is they'll lock it in with their last pick, and they'll obviously ban out all the cheese. So Huskar's already out of the pool. Slaughter Gang are taking away all the tempo, so there goes Storm Spirit. He's got his Yashikaya. 2 parts of it Aghanims. He's just keen.
Looks like they don't really call this bluff, right? Like, the Sand King ult is up there. He's got an Eternal Shroud. He can live against that Zeus. But they've just been... And they're playing with fire here. This is a Morphling.
They're just BMing them at this point. Taunting Reverie in the fountain. Knowing his team doesn't have
my
buyback.
lord, he gets a bash, but now Gachi's pinned in the corner.
10 regen, 10 HP regen, and 5 mana. I mean, like... He's just not respecting the toss damage. He's expecting the
IO. Spirit Breaker decides he wants to take this kill on his own. Down goes Wing Xing.
Unfortunate. Raccoon and Gooby is just like, yeah, you're never going to do it. Those players are well renowned for their ability to troll on Monkey King.
Jeez, these teams draft fast though. It seems like they've pulled off of his Zags. I see RFA's elected to go for the Aether Lens. I like the first item Aether Lens on the Shadow Demon as well. Just allows you to play the fights from the back line to this Mars with this facet, and it feels impossible as a save support. And we've got an IO game on our hands, so I really expect that to have some impact this game.
You're not going to see many IO say a good matchup and a good start to his game.
This Necro though, I'm looking at these last hits. I mean, he was going to have a good lane regardless, but he is accelerating at this point.
Yeah.
Ursa lurking on the side. In comes Axe with a phenomenal call. Down goes the SD and down goes the Tiny immediately. Huncho gets a stun off in return and doesn't have time to get his ult off. The Morphling doing what he can to put some damage on, but
no way.
Is that a mid-Sand King?
Playing Sand King. Yes.
Who did we see in the pro scene just play this? I'm sure I saw someone in the pro scene just pick this recently.
Happened like in the numbers, but the amount of saves that the Undying was able to do, and the amount of like, even if it's just like a tombstone save or just the Greaves keeping someone alive, that prevents like 10 to 15 Bing chilling and zapping shit for free. I'm curious as to how Honcho's going to answer this one though. That's going to be the more interesting question.
And
doesn't have to worry about it too much.
Bottles filled once again.
Yeah, it's just rushed a vessel, and this 1k gold lead you have to note is in regards like. The bottom lane has a...
Especially when you've got the cow stacking up on top. Who did? Yeah, the cow did 1,300 damage.
Good.
The cow did 1,300 damage. God.
The last pick Zeus has really paid off here. The vision game...
And in my opinion, possibly the best hero in all of Dota.
Tell me
This
why.
hero
Tell me why.
does so much. Okay, first of all, the illusion damage buffed. Phenomenal. We already knew just series against Team Dog Cage. I have been messaged by many people who have told me that they were super impressed with your gameplay and your team's gameplay last night.
Thank you through. Just because it was the most impactful hero on Radiant last game by far.
Well, they just beat it. Are they confident enough to let it slip through? Top of that Morphling. There is the save we were talking about, though. Is it enough to keep this Morphling alive? The swap gets him away. You mentioned that earlier, that Venji'd be there to swap afterwards. And now they may just lose Johnny instead of to a troll as well. Like, there was an Invoker there. He
out-damaged Hancho George. Yeah. Like, what is that? He out-damaged Jonathan Sins on the Mars. That's one of his best.
I cannot count the amount of times I keep seeing this hero getting picked. I think this hero sucks. Like, I think it's... Holy... Look at these net worths. Yeah. So he's finishing on 36. Unreal. Alright, so I know it's hard because it was such a wild game, but what's Wendy up to here? Yeah. Stacking like a good support? No? Yes? Yep, she decides to.
Yeah, there's not really a lot she can do.
Spirit Breaker has pinged out not just his damage, so allies as well.
I see.
So I mean that Shadow, that Spirit Breaker dies a lot earlier if he does have Promulgate there. But again, he's watching these team fights. BKB pissing stuns. They need to deal with him as fast as they can. Gabala goes in, whiffs the call, and Huncho is just out of there. But Zeus is still on the sideline and doing a whole bunch of damage. This time Rev comes in and he doesn't get dunked because the dunk has been wasted on someone else. Huncho caught. They decide not to bring the Vision to save the. To kill the Invoker, and the Invoker is saved. Just walking away there. Young Harold strolling back to mid. Tiny trying to give him some mana.